The basic mathematics behind dimensional mirroring. Hello, thank you for joining me here for another video. I hope you are all doing very well. I am Marie Soirou. This is a continuation of my video on the strange phenomena of dimensional mirroring. Today I will explain the energy patterns represented with mathematics that are behind that phenomenon and explain why it exists. At first, the strange phenomena of dimensional mirroring sounds like overstretched and over-exaggerated metaphysics, but what is behind it is pure science. It is simply something that has not yet been discovered or studied on Earth, mostly because you need to be able to observe at least two different realms to detect and study this phenomenon. Everything that exists, be it matter, energy, gravity, biology, or anything else can be measured, given a numerical value and can be represented mathematically. Everything that exists and has ever existed, has a reason. Every situation, place, object or person has a history behind them, a reason why they exist, and that reason can be observed as the sequence of situations, events and energy dynamics that directly preceded them. A tree was once a seed falling to the ground. It then germinated and became a very small sprout. It then grew a bit more before it was eaten by some animal, but it managed to recuperate and continue to grow on. It took its nutrients from the ground and environment, and is now a wonderful and tall oak tree, that is the result of not only a sequence of events but of progressive cellular reproduction and replication. A piece of art, a vase, has its history too. It was formed somewhere back in time by the hands of a potter, who took the clay out of somewhere, purified it and added other ingredients to make the perfect mixture to form the vase. It was then placed in a special oven, removed to cool, and finally, it was artistically painted and finished. And objectively observed, animals and people, all biology is the result of a sequence of cellular replication and nutrient energy transformation. In situations as well, everything that happens or that is happening is the direct result of a sequence of events that preceded the one we are observing. All this, as well as everything else, is the result of an elaborate sequence of events that had to take place in a specific order. Every sequence has a numerical value that can be assigned to them, depending on the unity of measurement we chose to use, but in the end, they all obey the same basic and immutable mathematical principles and properties. And this applies to both base 10 and base 12 mathematics, as well as any other base system. So, all the chains and sequences of events that preceded, explain, and form everything that exists are mathematically interrelated and can be observed and represented with formulas and tables, that can even be used to predict outcomes, as all we need to achieve this, is to continue with the pre-established mathematical sequence that precedes it. A mathematical sequence is when a sequence of numbers are directly related among them. Each number in the sequence or table is the direct result of a mathematical calculation dynamic that precedes it, and in which each number holds a unique position among the others and is the result of a formula. Each number holds a unique position within the table and was caused by the ones that came before them and cannot be removed from that position without altering all the mathematical dynamics of the table and sequence. Perfect examples of these are multiplication tables, the Fibonacci and prime number sequences, among many others. My basic point here with all this is that you cannot remove or add any number artificially to any of those sequences without altering all the mathematical relationships between the other digits. In a mathematical table such as the one you could draw in a notebook, adding or subtracting a number to the sequence will only result in the whole table being wrong, or simply having a mistake in it. But inside an energy field where the values are dynamic, meaning that the mathematical patterns in them change all the time. When you change, add or subtract the value of a digit in that field, all the others will move, alter and accommodate their values to fill in the void, or to justify the mathematical existence artificially added one, moving their values to accommodate the new one. This can be observed in physics using the first and second laws of thermodynamics. For example, any existential realm, such as the matrix on Earth, is a mathematically representable field where everything that exists there and is going on there is the result of preceding events, objects, situations, and their movements and relationships between them. As I've explained before, all objects with mass have a numerical value assigned to them and are the result of the mathematical interaction they have with the field they are in, taking into account that everything is energy, mass equals energy, and everything is interconnected. No object in a field matrix can exist without it affecting and interacting with the rest of that field. And all objects in an energy field such as an existential realm like Earth, only can exist there as the sum, and as the consequence of interactions and movements of others in the same field and their mathematical energy relationship among them all. Earth is a more or less isolated energy matrix field, but it can never be isolated from the larger field it is in, the extended realm we can call the material world we the living exist in, and that includes life in space and in all the other planets. Yet, observing the mathematical relationships between energy and mass, objects, inside Earth's realm, it is a more or less closed system when looking at existential averages, well inside it. It has its own mathematically perfect relationship between all its energy and mass components going on inside it. When we artificially introduce a foreign object into the Earth realm matrix mathematical system, an object, a living animal or a person, the whole matrix on Earth will shift all its values to accommodate the new one. To mathematically validate and give that new object or person a reason to exist there, shifting all its sequence formulas that previously existed there, for them to add up to the energy and mass values of the new object or person. This is also why everything is interconnected and everything as energy affects everything else. When a foreign to a specific matrix object or person stays in a realm for a short time, it will create a disturbance in the mathematical energy field of the area, like shock waves in a pond after a rock has been thrown in it. But if the foreign object or person stays long enough, the field will absorb it mathematically and energetically, much like when a rock is thrown into a pond, where it creates a disturbance in the surface of the water and while it descends to the bottom, but in time calm, will be restored, but with the added value of mass and water displacement of the rock that has been added to the energy field of that specific pond. When an object or a person is artificially added into an isolated matrix energy field, it will create all the sequence of events that lead to its existence, to justify its presence there. It will create all the mathematically precise sequence of events, displacements of mass and transfers of energy to accommodate, justify, and give that new person or object a reason to exist within the new matrix field it is in. The mathematically precise field will give a reason to exist for anything that is introduced inside that field. In the case of an object introduced artificially in a closed energy system, the field will create all its history and all that caused it to exist within, and inside that same system of mathematical algorithms, or matrix. Same for a person. If introduced artificially from outside the planet's mathematical energy system, this will create a past for it, and all the sequence of events needed to justify and explain its existence there, always within the same mathematical algorithms and logic patterns. This is how we can explain why things, objects, ships, and people are eventually normalized when introduced into Earth's realm, they are matrixed. To successfully introduce an object or a person, moving it from one realm or mathematical matrix system into another, a lot more energy is necessary for the field that receives it to adapt its stubborn energy patterns to accommodate the foreign algorithms that are the real cause of the existence of the object or person. Repetitive energy action and consistency are required. The matrix mathematical system on Earth is not isolated from the outside one, but within its own logic it is. This can be represented or understood as the systems of belief that make up its matrix, what is possible and what is not. In non-mathematical terms, the matrix will accommodate and make everything that does not belong, fit in forcefully. Everything strange and unusual will be normalized and given a logical and socially acceptable reason to exist. And from that matrix-specific and limited point of view, it will be correct, but it will not be correct from a wider and more expanded, complex point of view. Things and people don't exist for one reason or another, it's not one or the other, it is both. As with many things, the reason why anything and anyone exists is complex, and cannot be explained away by simple reductionist logical reasoning and ideas. This is another example of how expanded awareness can allow you to understand a lot more about the world and the realm you live in. Thank you for watching my video and for liking and subscribing. Take care and be very well. With much love. Your friend, Marie Soirou.